Hi everybody, this is Laura
And Arnie.
with Crazy Cool Cakes. If you're a big Harry Potter fan, you're gonna love this tutorial.
I had a lot of fun making these. Let's go and get started.
We're gonna start off by making the bases for all of our toppers, and here we're using a nice light brown, and we're gonna give it a really cool wood grain effect using one of our silicone mats. Here we're using a 2-inch circle cutter, and we're gonna use a beautiful dark brown from our favorite non-toxic chalks to give the wood a really nice dark aged look. You can find the list to our favorite tools and materials in the Show More section underneath this video. The first topper we're going to make is a sorting hat. So here he's used a nice dark leathery tan color, and he used a 1.5-inch circle cutter to cut out the brim. For the hat, all you need is a small ball of gum paste, same color as the brim of course, and you're going to roll it into a teardrop shape. Then you're going to give it this really cute wavy effect at the top. Flatten the bottom by placing it on your table and giving it a little twist as you push down, and then sharpen the edges all the way around with your fingers. To create the mouth, you can use a sharp pick tool, and to create the nose, you can insert a small ball tool and give it a little lift, and then use your fingers to pinch it together. You can use the same small ball tool to create the deep grooves for the eyes. The sorting hat has lots of wrinkles, so you really can't go wrong here, but you do want to start by giving him some really nice deep eyebrows, and then of course adding a few wrinkles underneath the eyes, and then you can go ahead and add as many wrinkles as you'd like all around the hat. That's starting to look really cool, sweetie.
Thanks a lot, baby.
How many of these do you think you've made?
Oh, I lost count.
You're the sorting hat king.
That's what they call me.
Okay, so just a little bit of glue at the bottom, and then you place it right in the middle of the brim. To make the little strings that embellish the hat, you're just going to roll out the same color gum paste nice and thin. And you're going to cut out 2 long, thin strips, and then you'll cut out a third one and cut that one in half. Add a little bit of glue all along the base of the hat, and then you're going to carefully wrap one of the little strings. And then add a little bit more glue and wrap on top of that the second little strip. This gives the band around the hat a nice wrinkled effect. The other 2 little strings hang from the back of the hat, so here he's just kind of placing them and measuring how long he wants them to be. Once you're happy with the length, you can go ahead and glue them into place. The last thing we need is a tiny little knot right on top of the seams. Nice. Of course, we have to give the sorting hat a nice spooky look, so we're going to use the same dark chalk we used before. Darken all the facial features and dust randomly. After staring at his hat for a while, my hubby decided the eyes needed to be even deeper and the eyebrows needed to come down a little bit more.
Yeah, it was bugging me.
Yeah, that's more like it. Now we're going to make an awesome broomstick. Roll a small amount of dark brown gum paste into a nice little worm. Make sure one end is a little bit pointier than the other, and you want to give the handle a nice little bend. Tap it down so it doesn't move around on you. For the bristles, we're going to use a small amount of the same exact brown that we used for the sorting hat. Roll it into a small little teardrop shape, flatten it down, and then you want to make a little hole using a ball tool. You just need a tiny little bit of glue, and then you can insert the handle into the bristles. To make the bristles, you can use a wheel tool and score a bunch of little tiny lines into the gum paste. Then you can separate the end of the bristles by making little tiny cuts with your blade. That looks so cute. Let's add this broom to a wooden base. You just need a little bit of glue and center it nice and neat, just like that. For the strings on the broomstick, we're just going to use a very small amount of golden yellow gum paste. And you're just going to cut 2 little tiny thin strips. Make sure they're long enough to wrap around the bristled part of the broom. Carefully add the 2 strings to the top part of the bristles. You're so meticulous, sweetie.
Where do you think I learned that from?
Adorable. We're going to color our little strings gold, and the easiest way for us to do this is just to use gold airbrush color. Use a tiny little brush and just be a little careful. That was pretty good, baby.
Thank you, baby.
Harry Potter's scarf is probably the easiest topper to make. For this, you're just going to take some golden yellow gum paste, roll it out nice and thin, and you're going to cut a strip 3.5 inches long and about 1/2 inch wide. Take your blade and cut little tiny slits on both ends of the scarf. For the stripes, we're rolling out some nice burgundy colored gum paste. Roll it out a little thinner than you did the yellow. Make sure it's the same width as the yellow strip. And you're just going to cut out 4 little pieces. Add a little bit of glue to each piece as you add them and make sure you space them out evenly. Now let's add it to our wooden base. So you just need a little bit of glue on the back of the scarf and you're going to bend it in half and place it right in the center. For our next topper, we're going to make a little wand. So for this, you just need a little bit of dark brown gum paste. Roll it into a pointy teardrop. Then use your wheel tool to make little tiny defects on the sides. Give the wider end of the wand a semi-straight edge. Finish up the wand by giving it a little bit more wood grain with the wheel tool. Tiny and cute. Add a little bit of glue to the back of the wand and we want to set this down close to the edge of one of the wood grain circles. This is one of my favorite parts, making the spellbook. We're going to roll out some white gum paste a little bit thick and you want to cut this into a nice little rectangle. This is about the size that you want it to be. Now just take your wheel tool and score lines all along 3 of the sides of the rectangle. One of the sides will be the spine. For the book cover, we're going to use the same burgundy gum paste we used earlier and we're going to roll this out a little bit thicker. To make the book cover, we're simply going to trim the burgundy gum paste just a tiny bit larger than the white rectangle. Flip it over, make sure it's nice and tight, and use the top cover as your guide to trim off the bottom cover. Just make sure your blade is nice and straight. Now just open it back up and add a little bit of glue to make sure everything stays together. You can use the side of your blade to straighten out the cover if you need to. Now all we need is a little bit of glue on the side that's going to be facing down and just put it in place. So cute. Just on a little bit of the same color to give your spellbook a really cool aged effect. That looks so cool. Onto the black cauldron. For this, you're just going to need a small amount of black gum paste about the size of a gumball, and you're going to flatten one side up against your work table. Now we're going to use a large ball tool to make an indentation at the top of the cauldron. We're going to make a ring that goes around the top of the cauldron, so for this you just need a small amount of gum paste. You're going to roll it out into a long thin worm. Place it on top just to measure, and then you can go ahead and trim off whatever you don't need. Add a little bit of glue to the sides of the worm, as well as a little bit to the top of the cauldron, and then you can go ahead and add your ring. For the 2 little tiny handles, you just need a little bit of gum paste and roll it into a tiny little worm. Cut that in half, and then you're going to use your medium-sized ball tool to shape each handle. Now we just need a tiny little bit of glue on the ends of the handles and carefully add them into place. Looking cute. I think you had fun doing this next part.
You know that's right.
Here he's adding just a little bit of green gel food coloring to some piping gel, mixing it up a little and then just adding it to the top of the cauldron. This is going to look like it has a little spoon sticking out of it, so we're really just going to need to make the handle. After rolling out a little brown worm and flattening it, here he's using a small ball tool and he created a little hole on one end. And just stick it in there. Now we're going to add it to our base, so we just need a little bit of glue at the bottom and let's center it perfectly. That looks so adorable. Now we're going to make Harry's glasses, and for this you're going to roll out some black gum paste, a little on the thick side. And for a cool bubble effect, we're going to actually cover it in plastic. Here we're cutting out 2 circles using a 2A tip. Then we're going to use a number 10 tip to cut out the inner circles. To make the arms of the glasses, roll out a long black worm, approximately 4 inches in length, and then you're going to cut it in half. Give the ends of the arms a slight little bend, and then you're going to flatten them down to make sure they don't move on you. Here's how he assembles the little glasses. You simply place one arm on top of the other, and then you're going to trim off the excess in the back. That way it lays nice and flat on our wooden base. And this is how the little lenses are going to sit on top of the arms. Now we'll just simply glue all the little pieces together. Carefully flip the glasses over and add a little bit of glue to the back, and then just position them nice and centered on your wooden base. Those look so cute. Hey, that's me! Finally I get to do something. My hubby doesn't trust his writing skills, so he asked me to do this part for him. I'm using the pointy tip of one of my nail dotting tools, and of course again we're using the gold airbrush color. Now I've switched to the other side of this nail dotting tool, which is the smallest ball tool, and I'm adding little tiny dots all along the edge of the book. I'm going to add a little magic to the wand here, so I'm just dotting little tiny dots all around. I think that looks so adorable.
That looks very good.
Let's give the broom a little bit of magic sparkle as well. For this, I moved up to a little bit bigger nail dotting tool, and I'm just going to add little tiny dots everywhere. And then I've switched back to the smaller nail dotting tool to add some smaller little tiny dots. Yes, very cute. Last but not least, Harry Potter's lightning bolt scar. This is a lot of fun to draw. It helps to have a little picture of it in front of you when you're drawing this. Remember, you can find the list to all of our favorite tools and materials we used in this tutorial underneath our video. You did such a fantastic job on all your toppers, sweetie. I'm so proud of you.
Well, I couldn't have done it without your help, sweetie.
I think these toppers are so adorable. Any big Harry Potter fan will just love these. We hope you enjoyed this tutorial, everybody, and hope you have fun making these too. Thank you for watching. We'd like to invite you to check out more of our tutorials. If you'd like to learn how to make some awesome Dr. Seuss cupcake toppers, click on the video on the left. If you'd like to learn how to make this adorable Shopkins Wishes birthday cake, click on the video on the right. We'd also like to invite you to visit our online shops and also follow us on our social media. You can find all the links underneath our video, but more importantly, don't forget to subscribe. Thanks everybody, take care.
Bye-bye, everybody.